Yeah, eUnited have looked dominant up until now, and this is what we talked about. It was LG the ones that got to go the distance in their first set, but eUnited kind of were able to just go right on through with that 3-0. Now we get to see them go up against LG and a little bit of adversity here. But I mean, like you were saying, Taco, we trust these eUnited guys.
I would have to trust eUnited. I mean, these guys are scrim partners, but one thing that I would definitely like to see a change of pace of from both of them is the Morrigan ban.
Yeah.
Both of these teams know that it's in their mid laners' god pulls, and both mid laners just perform so well whenever they get her. And I mean, we've called it 1-1 because as soon as I saw eUnited with the Morrigan and the Fafnir was sold, and same thing could be said for Luminosity and that Morrigan Raijin.
Well, let's see if that is going to be the focus here for these two teams. That Morrigan pick. LG eUnited, we got picks and bans ready to go for you all here. Taco, I know you want to see Morrigan change. Toli, what about you, though? What's your focus for this picks and bans going in?
I think RDO is going to start to be a little bit more prioritized by both of these two teams. The way he was able to make an impact that last game, especially shutting down, the escapes and the engages between Fafnir, between the Hercules, I think eUnited is definitely going to remember it in this picks and bans phase.
We got them going here. eUnited are going to be the first pick this time, and that's what we've been seeing from them. The first pick, they're in a position where they don't have to worry so much about banning out Morrigan because they'll just take it if it's up, but eUnited instead choose to ban away Rat, who was the real problem with Morrigan last game, that she could turn into the Rat.
And that was going to be the secondary option that I was speaking of, is for eUnited, they don't necessarily have to eliminate that Morrigan, but Luminosity, however, they're going to take care of it for them. Recognizing that first pick potential, even with Raijin being taken off the table, they still don't want any chances of that Morrigan being around.
Now that means Serqet, Ho-Yi, and Chulainn, between those three picks, even a Muzenkob,
sure,
2 of those 4 picks are going to go through. So I'm expecting maybe leaving the 2 Hunters through to pick one or the other and start taking away the Serqet and Chulainn.
And you were right here to say that, LG still banning away that Morrigan in the first game. It was really the Robin turning into it a bunch. That was the problem for them. So even with Rat off the table, LG don't want to have to deal with potentially 2 big game-changing ults. Even if you avoided that first time, you got to worry about it again. But now we're back to eUnited in that ban phase. It's on them to decide where they want to go from here, Toli, and what they want to try and win.
And I think that they're going to start picking either the Chulainn early for Benji or maybe the Ravana yet again, because that is a little bit of a flex pick, and that's not a bad idea to control the solo lane, considering that there's just so much action here between these two teams around that lane. Both of them wanted to shut down Aquarius and Benji.
There's also some possibilities for an Osiris to surface between these two teams. It hasn't been specifically banned in either of these games so far. It's just that neither side has really opted for it early on, looking for more of the team fighting capabilities with the Hercules. And I think that right about now would be a strong time for eUnited to possibly bring this one out. They've been looking for a lot of the double warrior compositions, and so there is opportunity for Chulainn and Osiris to come into play.
And this is what we start to see over a best of 5 here, Toli. eUnited's bans are getting more and more responsive to what it was ELG were doing. Get rid of that RDO is annoying. Get rid of that Raijin. We don't want to have to deal with it.
It wasn't even first picked, or I'm sorry, it wasn't picked or banned game 1. Game 2 before the secondary ban phase. Now game 3 in the first ban phase, not wanting to even first pick it for themselves. eUnited really respect the fact that this RDO was the issue in terms of the disengages and the engages. So now, a little flexibility if they want to try to run the Hercules yet again after this Muzenkob pick or ban.
And it's Ho-Yi, actually, the one hunter out of the few that we'd seen banned early on that isn't going to be able to surface, or that is going to be able to surface if eUnited chooses to do so. And first picking Ho-Yi, I actually wouldn't be that opposed to here, because there is a little bit of flexibility option. We have been seeing the Ho-Yi from the mid laners. Not sure if it's something that Venenu wants to go for. Instead, it's going to be that Serqet.
Really trying to limit some of Mask's options. The Serqet and the Raijin are 2 viable picks that he's been really making a name for himself, at least in this fall split, and knowing this eUnited taking that option off the table. So Luminosity could start to run some bruisers to try to negate this.
That's what we've been seeing a lot from the second pick, is like double bruiser from him. So there's the Chulainn coming out right out of the gate, as well as the Ho-Yi. And LG has also been banning out a lot of hunters, it's felt like, this set too. So picking that hunter for themselves kind of functions almost like a third ban.
This is a strong advantage pick for Luminosity, getting that Ho-Yi for BaRRA, because BaRRa absolutely loves playing aggressive in the duo lane. He's been doing it against PandaCat in now both games and making life really difficult for the eUnited's Hunter. So having that Uyi to pressure even more so on that dual lane side of the map is going to make it really difficult when it comes to securing Oracle vision, contesting buffs. eUnited are definitely going to need to be careful.
This time, though, eUnited pick up Jing. BaRRaCCuDDa's been prioritizing it, so we haven't had a chance to see PandaCat take it, but eUnited take that Jing for him, and then LG immediately respond with Ravana, so they are getting to have that double warrior presence.
A safe Hunter against a more aggressive Hunter, but the way BaRRaCCuDDa was playing the Jing was rather aggressive, but that was against the late game Ram. Against this Ho Yi, he's probably going to be looking to be aggressive as well. Hercules ban alongside Soul for eUnited, probably going to be more solo lane bans against Benji here.
And that is what it is. They're banning away these solo picks. So they've been, it feels like, kind of prioritizing stuff for Benji this set. But this time they're kind of okay with going a little bit away from that. Or do you think maybe they've got a plan here for Benji, Taco?
A plan specifically for Benji, it seems right now as though LG is more concerned about space control than anything else. One thing that Serqet really flourishes at is getting the single target burst damage, and whenever you have a Raijin to help assist you with that in team fights, it only gets worse because Raijin's creating enough space and craziness as is with those Taiko Trums. And so for Luminosity, if they have the Hu Yi ultimate to potentially drop down on Venenu anytime he's looking to get off the damage. And for eUnited, this is actually what I was waiting for, was to see the Poseidon ban from Baskin, because that would have been a very strong pickup for Luminosity in terms of what the Whirlpools could prevent.
The cripple would be very annoying. There would be no potential engage for Screammmmm to be able to get into that backline the way he would like to. So another pick probably for Luminosity that they could have is Nox would make it difficult for the Serqet engages.
The only concern with Nox that I would have is that she could seem a bit exposed to single target damage, just because Serqet and Raijin, again, are just really strong in that department. But the Fafnir selection, I'm wondering if no, there's no chance that we see a solo nemesis here.
I mean, we could potentially see it. I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, Benji has been running some unorthodox things before back in the day, but off of this Fafnir pick for Luminosity, they still need their mid laner. We could even see a Chronos for Baskin trying to get some synergy with that Coerce.
Yeah, now that they've got Fafnir locked in, those in-handers do get a little bit stronger for them. eUnited are the ones who still have their options open to them. They haven't quite done, you know, what looks to be their tankier characters, like their support, perhaps even like a solo laner just yet. So that's where they're going to be turning their eye. Erlang Shen is going to be the pick for him, along with Ganesha. And we haven't gotten to see too much Erlang here, it feels like, over the course of this LAN.
LANs just kind of shift throughout each and every single season. Erlang Shen was heavily prioritized during summer, a little fallen off in the fall, but this time around, when everything's on the line here in this best of 3 now, it's going to be picked after the secondary bans.
And I actually really like the Ganesha pickup to also complement what eUnited's draft is trying to focus on. That silence is going to be crucial as far as engagement is concerned from Luminosity. Fafnir is so strong at just jumping into your team and then immediately ulting, trying to catch as many members as possible. And with the Cernunnos, I have a very strong feeling that might be a Hu Yi in the mid lane.
Absolutely. Baskin is such a mechanical genius when it comes to playing Smite. From the solo lane, mid lane, doesn't really matter. But what I'm worried about is, where is Luminosity's magical damage? It's only the Fafnir.
That's the only one they're going for here. Bit of elevate maybe here from LG. Got that tankiness and then the 2 physical hunters. But either way, when we got this 2 comps all figured out here, totally Taco, let's get those picks.
I got to give it to eUnited here this time around. I just don't see Luminosity's draft working in the late game.
If Luminosity can close this out by 26-30 minutes tops, and then it's Lumi's game. Otherwise, eUnited.
All right, that's what we got over here on the desk. So let's see what we got over there with the casters.
Earlier in the weekend, I think it was just yesterday, Coach Dazer for Elevate tweeted out, 3 tanks, 2 idiots. Pretty good draft. How do you think? And now Luminosity going right for it.
Well, the funny thing about this is we were just discussing off air about why is PandaCat going on the Jing way. Maybe they've read into it more than we did, because it looks like Baskin and Ho Yi mid lane, which means take away the Jing way from BaRRa, put him somewhere else.
It's a great point, but the problem with this composition for Luminosity and the difference in what Elevate was running is that Elevate had 3 magical guardians, and one particularly in the jungle that was at least going to do some relevant damage to the early game. Luminosity's only source of magical damage is Fafnir, and no one's building MagicalD for Fafnir damage coming out of the support role. This concerns me for Luminosity because now this is eUnited should just be stacking things like Gladiator Shield, Hide of the Nemean Lion, Thorns. You can really stack it all and just let yourself get hit and rely on the tankiness from your items.
Right now, series tied up as we head into game number 3. Not the final game, excuse me, as this is a 5-game series. eUnited takes game number 1. LG takes game number 2. Game number 3, well, we're just getting underway. As we said, all eyes on the heavy physical side of Luminosity.
I do like the ward on the left-hand side that Luminosity have put down at that red buff. It's just to give an idea of where are eUnited going to start. What is their game plan? They're not at the red now. They're not in lane. I wonder where they could be.
Yeah, Luminosity has got to know that they're at their own red buff. So this gives the opportunity for Baskin and BaRRaCCuDDa in the mid lane to just push through and go to the enemy red. That's exactly where they're heading. Heads up play.
Yeah, nice solid invade. It's going to be reciprocated on the other side. Baskin and BaRRa also going to pretty much do the same. Mid Cernunnos, I really like.
I'm surprised as well because we've seen a lot of Ho-Yis, mainly Death Panther over in EU, but you could see the strengths of having this Ho-Yi in the mid lane. Cernunnos, different vibe.
It has a little bit more of a team fighting ultimate, even with Ho-Yi having one of the best team fighting ultimates among hunters. Cernunnos can also say the same. I mean, that transformation being really
Scream
good.
stuck, Scream gets rooted.
Minions.
Scream gets dead. Mask with the hot number 1. First blood, nice and early for LG.
Don't give it Mask, give that the minions. The archers came into play again. Archers to the rescue.
And Bluestone Pendant being the real bane of Scream's death bane there because he actually ended up hitting the gods.
You thought he was going to follow you in there with the Bluestone. It wasn't the Bluestone, it was the archers. Tom.
No, it's the Bluestone.
Well, the Bluestone hits the god, meaning that the archers stay aggroed on the enemy god longer, so it means that he can die. So you're both right.
Oh, God, you're so...
You're
Why?
both right.
No,
Great
you
work,
know what?
team.
Pick one.
No, you got to pick one.
You can't sit on the fence.
You're the worst.
I pick Anatoly.
I hate him.
That's fair.
I love him.
I like Toly.
I like the chain, though.
I'm a
Yeah, I
fan
don't know
of the
about that chain, though.
Oh, Benji gets slowed out because of the
Still
horrific
a sprint.
I still don't think it's enough.
I like Benji just holding everything there. He didn't over panic. He was like, he could have popped sprint just to walk away, but it's like, you know what? Best case scenario, I'm still going to be okay. And if he's going to dive the tower, then I'll sprint and be like, ha, gotcha.
I mean, that's the experience. Benji's been here 20,000 times. He knows what's going to kill him and what's not going to kill him.
The early game, though, for Aquarius to get pressure like that is kind of useful, at least in that laning phase, just to make sure that he's pinned under his tower for a moment or two. It's not going to be a big thing. I mean, Erlang Shen versus Chulainn is an interesting matchup.
And Erlang Shen has the advantage with those cleave auto attacks and the double proc on that auto attack with his passive for the death toll. So he's going to be able to sustain a little bit more, but Chulainn, for my money, is the strongest warrior right now. He does so much in the lane and the team fights. He's really difficult to deal with. And Benji is going to have to be a little bit worried about taunting 2 ADCs to guarantee hits onto him because in the mid game, sure, that's what you want. But in the late game, even that short duration taunt is guaranteeing a lot of damage onto him.
And that was a funny thing about pick and ban phase. We saw eUnited pick Serqet as first pick here. There's a lot of things at the table where I'm like, okay, maybe they'll go for the Ho-Yi, take that one for themselves straight away. We know how strong Ho-Yi's been in this tournament. A lot of picks towards it. Instead, they went for Serqet, which felt like another shot towards Mask.
Yeah, Mask is very comfortable on the Serqet, and Serqet has been banned away every game so far in this set. You can tell it's valued between these two teams who have practiced against one another quite a bit. I really like the Chulainn selection by Luminosity on the back end of that, along with Ho-Yi. It's the Ravana that just doesn't seem to fit as much in my mind, because if Luminosity were dedicated to going double hunter, Braken's open, you can go for something like that in the jungle to allow you to bring enough magical power to really make the enemy team at least consider building some Magic D.
But I mean, that's the thing as well. This is what happens in a best-of-5 series, right? The meta starts to develop. And we were talking about that off air, Tom, you know? Like, the meta changes as you go through a best-of-5.
I'm the series science guy, right? I always break it down to the science of the series. And game number 1, you sort of say, all right, we both come with our strategies. Game number 2, you say, we're kind of going to stick to it because maybe that was a fluke. But then by game number 3, you've got a big enough sample size where you can say, all right, you know what's an issue? Rat. the Morgan. This is what's problematic. We get rid of it, and that's when you see everything start to unravel.
And that's the one thing, though, about the 2 games we've seen so far is when into Game 3, the picks and bans, I think that's one of the reasons we see this rather than because it's stripped away from eUnited.
But eUnited had already selected their jungler, and that's where they'd played it the first 2 games. Maybe Luminosity's worried about Benji playing in the solo lane, but you know that Serqet's going to Scream, so you may as well have waited with your jungler pick or something like that.
Quick interjection. Is PBM a Serqet support guy?
Okay, I've played enough with PBM to know that I don't want to see that. Like I mean, there's
In
only
a
a few.
bad way.
In a bad way.
I mean, because I'm not joking. I actually loved it when Rafa brought it out. I think it's a viable pick. So just
Hang on, yeah.
Is that a thing?
But Rafa and PolarBearMike, 2 different people.
Which is why I bring up the question.
Ex-jungler Rafa, that makes a lot of sense. You'd be able to play an assassin.
If I see
It's
the
like,
same
it's like
selection,
seeing Jeff on an assassin. You're like, I don't know, Jeff. I'm not so sure about this one. What are you smoking today?
There's no way. Okay, but in all seriousness, do I think PolarBearMike could play Serqet at a high level? Yes. I just don't know if eUnited. It doesn't strike me as a type of pick that eUnited would try and practice and get ready for a LAN like this.
Sure.
PBM obviously is good enough at the game to be able to pilot it.
Yeah, it's if I see that selection on Trifecta, I go, okay, Aurora, what's up?
Yeah.
But different story here.
I'm a little bit surprised by the build options from the Hunters here. Not really with what BaRRaCCuDDa's doing. That seems very natural, but going for full boots on a Jingwei. I mean, Jingwei's all about mobility anyway. She's got enough in her kit. Why go for the full boots over the Devour's Gauntlets?
This is so that PandaCat can fly into it or speed buff invade on the right-hand side and make a bigger impact early on. If he goes to the Devourer's Gauntlets, that rotation doesn't mean as much.
Proxy farm coming out from Luminosity. They're going to get in, get out before Benji can even say anything.
A little bit early on that proxy farm for me. I like the idea about it because it's kind of setting you up for the speed or blue invades. But doing it on that wave, the speed and blue aren't going to be up for a while. They can't really pressure the tower either because Benji will be able to clear it very quickly.
Might be able to just proxy the next one as well. Could have gone to back camps, but because of the rotation from Venenu, it meant that was going to be a little bit too risky.
Looking for the player pressure here, but it's Aquarius that's going to take the pressure and the damage. Nice little knock-up, but I think it's too little too late. Benji answers back, puts his team on the board. It's 1-1.
Left-hand side, you can see BaRRaCCuDDa in a bit of a position on it to PandaCat for a moment, but pressure was relieved there. And that exactly was what they seem to have been looking for, I guess, with that proxy farm. Pressure him under the tower and look for a potential kill.
Mask and Aquarius is on different pages. Mask is there to pressure that wave underneath the tower to make sure you get some tower poke to try and set up maybe a little bit of poke onto Benji to get that speed buff invade going, but Aquarius on a different page. Now it's actually Luminosity who might lose their speed.
Yeah, eUnited with the speed buff. Mask comes through with the up-down, chasing out Scream. JeffHindla shows his face all the way from the left side of the map. The sprint is on. LG looking for the chase. Benji's the target. Drop down the box, and Baskin puts him in one. Benji gonna take the sleep. Mask a little bit low. The rest of the team is still looking for the chase. Aquarius zoning out 3. Luminosity pretty healthy.
I still like the
Gremlins.
JeffHindla there was a good decision to ult, I feel. It forced eUnited back for a moment, and then Luminosity have grouped up and found an opportunity. Baskin's still going in here. Got to be careful, but he's got Aquarius supporting.
Yeah, LG looking for the enemy speed buff now. And going to be successful in doing so. Mask, picking the orange up.
They're very back and forth on who's going to get the invade. BaRRaCCuDDa looks like he's trying to get the invade on the left-hand side because PandaCat very low on mana and HP. But it looks like Venenu able to come in and strip away that red at the last moment.
Yeah, I like the little fight. We didn't see it on camera over there, but those two were trading backwards and forwards for a little while between BaRRaCCuDDa and Panda at lane. You can see how low PandaCat is in terms of health and mana. BaRRaCCuDDa put the pressure on, forced out the ultimate from him and his own. Venenu, though, needs those minions to help him out, and luckily enough, they blocked that extra shot that could have caused problems.
That's the difference between the Cernunnos and the Hou-Yi mid. Hou-Yi gets that kill. Cernunnos has to just watch because the polymorph not going to get the damage done that he needs to really take him down.
Well, Baskin didn't have ult there. I think that if he had the Wild Hunt, that might have been enough damage because then you're doing some damage from a distance. It was really the body blocking minions that were the big difference maker there. Hou-Yi, I think if either of them have their ult in that scenario, then it ends up being a kill for Baskin.
Now, it was mentioned as well, LG have got 4 physical characters, and their only magical in this game is going to be a Fafnir. Physical defense is actually easier to build, and it's going to potentially shut them down as time goes on. So eUnited, just focus on physical defense. I think that's one of the reasons why you even see Ganesha just going for slightly different itemization here too.
Physical defense being a little bit better to build because it gives you more protection against the towers, whereas magical defense, not as bad to build as it used to be. I mean, it used to be you get the entire silver talisman tree, and then you're like, okay, what next? I've got nothing left. Now with the addition of things like Genji's Guard and that Kusari tree, Shoguns, those are all very, very potent magical defense items. So not as bad as it used to be to go against multiple magical damage dealers, but I still think that you're right. It is easier to build into a lot of physical defense. Items like Gladiator Shield are very strong. We could even see some Midgardian males, some higher than Nemean Lions. Those are the sorts of things that make life very difficult for the 4 physical damage dealers from Luminosity.
Midgardian Mail, one of my favorite items in the game, actually. And I think that we might potentially see that. 30 seconds shy of a Fire Giant showing, and it's 2-1 so far. Luminosity also leading in gold, 3K.
That looked cool as anything when PandaCat did that. It's like he did a pirouette in the air at the same time. Did have to airstrike away because he was slightly out of position there. So Panda going to have to play a little bit safer for a second, but obviously with that agility, it's not doom and gloom for him.
And this is the exact same situation that BaRRa was in game 1, where he went Devo Gloves right off the bat. PandaCat went to finish the boots. This is the time where he is much stronger. Also keep in mind that Panda didn't get a starter item. He only started with Bumbas and some boots to start off to get towards those Ninja Tabai faster. So BaRRa also has that extra bit of HP and damage.
Oh, hey, bud. Gold Fury started. Luminosity going to start it. Luminosity looking to finish it. Scream comes through.
He stole it!
Scream gets the steal. Big old Cobra's kiss. But BaRRaCCuDDa going to kiss him back to base.
And now you'll see the eUnited just turn tail and run because that came out better than they could have expected. He just gave him a kiss and stole a gold.
Cobra's kiss does so little damage.
I mean, it's body blockable too. I mean, someone from Luminosity has just got to stand in front of it. He's only got 2 shots of it. You don't have to worry about the damage coming out. Luminosity just not really thinking about the potential steal options there from eUnited.
The Bluestone.
It's the classic situation, though, of normally, in every given scenario, we normally look at those objectives and go, who was on zone duty? Benji needs some zone duty.
Well, Benji's going to be zoned out all the way back to the base.
But going back to it, I mean, around Gold Fury's Fire Giants, you expect zone duty to come out. Someone needs to be on zone. The difference is there, you're trying to sneak it, which means you don't want to show people are on zone duty. So you group up together nice and tight, but you got to cover the angles to make sure that doesn't happen.
And that right there is one of the downsides to the 3 Guardians, 2 Hunters build. You don't have that big mage ult. Now, granted, Venenu doesn't have it either on the Raijin, but it's certainly bigger than the basic attacks you're getting out of your Hunters.
Look, I don't think that comes down to someone not zoning or anything like that. That's just a little bit of bad luck for Luminosity and a little bit of not realizing that all you have to do is step in front of Scream. And then if you're standing in front between Scream and the Gold Fury, his only option to steal it is the Deathbane through you, and then he's dead 100% of the time. There, Scream had a chance to maybe escape, but he thinks that eUnited might be able to at least take some sort of fight afterwards, so he sacrifices himself in order to keep it going. Either way, that is on. It's more of a toss-up sort of call.
No.
Plus, you've got to stand in front and block it.
Listen, don't take the credit away from Scream there. He calculated that to perfection. Came in, kissed it, walked away, went peace. He died for it too. That was a heads-up play, in my opinion. Let's not discredit Scream for stealing that.
I think what it comes down to is luck is the intersection of opportunity and preparation. So he just gets the right window of opportunity.
Tom, stop undoing your tie. No,
there.
keep your shirt buttoned. No, stop going full Anatoly on us.
I got a chain
No,
out.
put it back.
Seriously, though, I think it was a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I don't think zoning was the issue. What I really do think is that if you got a Kraken man or a Thoth guy, that doesn't happen. So by leaving the mage at home, that's where you wind up.
On the other side of the coin, though, you don't get to burn that as quickly without 2 Hunters who are doing excellent objective damage already.
I love the focus out of Baskin, actually, to keep pressuring this right-hand side over and over again. Although left-hand side, Serqet's involved, looking at BaRRaCCuDDa. Already the poison is ticking away, but guess who turns up just at the right sort of time?
And all he has to do is show presence. Jeff goes, I'm here.
Hello?
That's literally all he does.
Did you really think I wasn't going to turn up to this fight? BaRRa's being ganked. Of course I'm here.
Smoothie in hand. JeffHindla shows up left side.
Now pressure in the mid lane, though, as Maz is going to go in on to Venenu once more. Venenu ults preemptively, does avoid some of that damage, and now Jeff has to turn up to help out too.
Nice dash coming out from PolarBearMike. He's going to isolate one. Still alive! And the elephant will walk away NBD.
And now in the end, it's Benji that has to rotate around, take a bit of poke. But once again, Jeff turns up at the right sort of time where that could have been a turnaround. I like the pressure out of LG because they're looking to pressure for this speed buff invade.
And this Fafnir works so well with having 2 Hunters on your side that they can do a lot of damage already. Jeff just trying to keep that zone away from everybody else and allow Luminosity to try and steal away that speed, but Benji got it.
eUnited seem to have this skill of just... They just toss one out there. They just tossed one out there, and they were able to seal whatever the hell they
Well,
wanted.
he just tossed one up in the air for a second, but it came straight back down, and with 3 members still here, he's not going to be able to stop his blue. If he does it again, I'll be in shock. I don't think he got that one.
No,
he did not.
Nice try.
I really wanted.
I know you were ready with the straight away. I can't do that.
That wasn't.
I can't do that noise.
Here, Can you?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
Give
I
it a
want
shot,
to.
right? Oh no.
It's like close. Yours is so loud.
It sounded like a little.
Well, you're
It's like
doing
a little drop of like a puddle.
You're doing the click, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing the Snapple cap. That.
This will get ready, Fred.
Are we really going into the noises already? Like we're out of words, just moving into noises.
At least he's not doing impersonations of gods in the game because
Or
they're
am I?
terrible.
Or
Gods in the game.
or
What Australian god have we got in the game?
I was talking about gods of commentary. Shout out to Husey.
Wait, what? There's no Jing 10 in this game. We
He
don't
casts
need
so
using it.
quickly. I'm just so impressed.
that's and you know what's funny is that's like the all-time like Smite casting clip
really
is Husey's mess up, to say the least.
You know, it's actually funny. Right here, we're seeing 2 Worlds contenders. Just last week, I went down to Australia to cast next to Husey, and we crowned a team headed out here. And it's actually going to be Scylla Esports, which is fun. They're a bunch of young kids. We've seen Dire Wolves, LG, Dire Wolves. We've seen them so many times. New blood coming through, a lot of fun, just like eUnited. New blood coming through, gonna start up the Gold Fury here. Half HP, screams on zone duty, and I love the placement of the box coming out from the support. eUnited, they've got the control. They're gonna take the Gold Fury that they started this time around. Still trailing, but cutting the lead shorter.
Well, that was the same situation as the LG Gold Fury moments ago. The only difference is that it didn't get stolen away. LG tried to sneak it, EU turned up at the right time. eUnited tried to sneak it, LG hair off the pace.
And Raijin Ultimate's so versatile at defending objectives like that. Ven uses the taunt to keep
Fair
Mask
taunt,
away.
fair
Then
taunt.
he's able to finish off with the damage from the Taiko drums as well. One of the more underutilized parts of Raijin's kit, and one of the reasons why I really like that selection alongside the Ganesh, because you're getting the ability to push and pull someone on top of that line from the Ganesh ult consistently.
Again, PolarBearMike, the split second that you're rooted in that Serqet ultimate is when PBM dropped the pillars perfectly. What a fantastic play.
Well, Portal Demon started up now for LG once again. They got the last one after failing the Gold Fury. They failed the Gold Fury again, technically, and now LG will get another Portal Demon. They're not worth the same value as they once were, but at least it's something.
And it keeps Luminosity on the aggressive with that Shogun's Kasari early on for JeffHindla. Love that with the Fafnir and the 280Cs. Baskin or BaRRaCCuDDa going to be getting that benefit even without the Coerce hitting onto both targets in this dwarf form.
And the one thing I do like about Baskin's build here, he's gone for the Crusher into Asi. He's going full pen,
Yep.
but he's allowed because BaRRaCCuDDa's going to have the Executioner. They'll be swinging at the same target, which means even more damage on these frontliners.
Plus, it doesn't make him stack up for as long with the Devourer's Gauntlets while still having some lifesteal.
PandaCat gonna jump up and down. There's a little bit of help from PolarBearMike, but Luminosity still doesn't really want to full commit.
Ooh.
Mask on the other page, however, goes all the way deep, perhaps too much so. Venenu drowns the jungler. Baskin gonna answer back, taking down Benji 1-for-1 so far. Scream makes it a 2-for-1, answering back by taking down BaRRaCCuDDa.
But Venenu will drop in tow as Baskin gets a double kill there. 6-3 in the scorelines now. There's something LG can get out of that. I don't mind Mask dying there to zone away PandaCat, but it did help them out.
You got to be a little bit more wary of where the rest of his team is overall. But
Yeah.
the big headline here for that team fight is that eUnited's mid laner Venenu falls with that Doom Orb in the mid lane. He was full stacked. He was doing plenty of damage. We talk about it all the time with this item. It's risky, but it gives you plenty of payoff if you can keep it stacked. Putting Venenu down to 25 stacks means that it's still not in a bad spot. Having 25 stacks on Doom Orb,
good.
still okay, but now he needs to be wary of getting jumped on again while his Aegis is still down, because if you get sent down to, 12, 15 stacks, it's not very effective.
And Baskin is 4-0-1 on this Cernunnos. The funny thing about Baskin, we remember him back in the day, the solo laner that everyone was wanting to be on, on the same team with. He was potentially the best, arguably, solo laner in the world at the time. Then transitions to mid. And not only is he playing mages, he's also showing that he can play these hunters at a good level too.
I wish you guys could see my face. I'm so
Oh, he's putting it-
I'm so blasé about, oh, Baskin's playing the new pick. Baskin can play any damn god you give him.
But not every player can do that in any role.
No, but
It's not
Baskin
true.
can. But Baskin can.
But how many times have we really seen it? Not that much in terms of hunters. This is one of the first times.
It's cooler when you don't have to show it off. But I sincerely believe that if Naja mid came out for Baskin, I wouldn't bat an eye. And I'd be like, okay.
I mean, he played a Willish mid in their final set against eUnited, and I know there was a lot of discussion about whether or not that was the right call in that game, but if you watch that game back, I really don't think that was the reason the Luminosity lost, was because of a lack of a mid-mage.
Can we notice LG are just pushing down towers now? They're not even caring about the fire giant on the other side of the map. They're like, you know what? We got double hunters and Fafnir. We don't necessarily need to go and take a fire giant. We could just force these objectives.
Same time, kind of dangerous. They're only up 4,000 gold, and eUnited is a team that will fight you for it.
But I think that's playing around the cooldowns of the relics that they know eUnited have on cooldown. And now that they're coming back up, they did retreat, but Scream is near enough already dead.
One-side aggression, that's fine. Recklessness, probably not. Scream goes a little bit too hard, finds himself crunched down.
But
and now
that's
it's
a
a three-man defensive set coming out against LG in 5 total players.
And this will be a tier 2 unless eUnited look to defend, which it looks like Benji's going to wrap around the back, but I think Benji's going to be on his own. Aquarius is owning the rest of the team away here, and Benji is not going to last long in a situation like that.
Loved the play that was drawn up. Benji was supposed to come with the flank, get the taunt, bringing players through the dominant pillars, not once, but twice. Doesn't wind up happening, and still LG turn and burn. I like the idea, not the execution.
And it's just so hard to frontline against 2 hunters now who have so much penetration. I mean, it's Executioner and Titan's Bane already for BaRRaCCuDDa. It's Baskin with that Crusher and Aussie combination. And the reason that Cernunnos works so well in this double hunter composition is that autumn season that Baskin is really set in quite a bit. Not many Cernunnos you're going to see with that sort of autumn color. It's more summer for the extra damage. It's more of the spring for the lifesteal. But remember, whenever you get hit with that autumn auto attack, your physical protections are reduced by 25. And that applies for Mask, it applies for Aquarius, it applies for BaRRaCCuDDa. That's extra penetration for all the other physical members of this team.
And that's what I was waiting for that back to come out, because straight away I was like, I wonder where Baskin's going with this. And it went towards the chins instead of Executioner now. So now he's going to be able to do even more damage to these frontline tanks, percentage of health instead, still relying on his actual stances in those different seasons, as well as the Executioner that he's got from BaRRaCCuDDa.
But no executioner on Cernunnos? Are you okay, Aggro?
I'm doing okay. You know,
sure?
Executioner, I know all of a sudden everyone is talking about me and Executioner. Look, just because
it's like
Hunter
Robin all over again.
Just because Hunters had one of their best items go to 2,100 gold, you know how much I'd pay to have one of my mage items be 2,100 gold? Please, that 100 gold nerf doesn't do a lot to that item. But
I know. I mean, you had that Legion helm for a while, right?
Oh, that's actually really true.
And Hunters had Ichabod, which was just objectively better anyways. So the tier 2s were still in Hunter's favor. Anyways, Executioner having 2 on the same team. If you're on the same target, it is less effective. It's just a matter of where Luminosity want the team fight. So far, because of the way this has gone on, it's been both BaRRa and Baskin onto Benji. So it ends up being okay that they only have 1.
Did not expect the leash coming out from eUnited. Thought they would hard stick, or excuse me, LG. Thought they would hard stick on the Portal Demon. Instead, they look for the fight, which might turn around to bite them. Scream goes all the way deep, but the Frenzy's popped. He's got the ultimate onto 1. It's going to be Mask, who engages. Meanwhile, back-end Guardian in trouble. PolarBearMike has to run out. Venenu, everybody grouping up, banging on the drums, and Luminosity still healthy.
Can we just notice that all the ultimates from eUnited were used there and only 1 from LG? Then they go back and get the Portal Demon for free. This feels like this could be a very quick trip back to base if they can, and then rush through and start the fire giant. Why not? You won an engagement with doing nothing.
Now, Luminosity did kind of use 2 there because of JeffHindla using his ultimate, and that stays active for a while. Aquarius using his, transforming back. So only Baskin and BaRRaCCuDDa still have theirs available. Those are still very impactful.
Taunt going on a Mask. Pretty impactful there. Taking a chunk out of him. Aquarius on zone duty, kinda. This fight halfway started. Now we're going to see the full retreat coming out from Luminosity. And they're in the driver's seat. They can start the fire giant, and they can demand eUnited response.
Yeah, the big key here is watching what happens with the front line as they're trying to funnel them through the gap. And if they can find them through that funnel at the right time, that's what they're looking to do. But eUnited, well aware of it, split the difference. force LG back, which means the Fire Giant isn't as easy to siege.
I like the way eUnited are responding here. They're down 8,000 gold, but they're still playing aggressively. They know that they can fight into this.
And that's because they have so much physical penetration already in this build, and BaRRa and Baskin have been able to stay so safe. Only one death between the two hunters. And a lot of credit goes to their positioning, but also the peel that Jeff and Mask and Aquarius have gone for.
I love the fact that eUnited have pushed up so much that they're hiding PandaCat getting this farm on the left side. If Luminosity know that PandaCat's there, they're on Fire Giant so hard.
Well, the strength is, though, is the fact that the ultimates are back up from eUnited. LG are aware of how long these cooldowns will be on the ultimates, so it's like, well, the window is closing, the window is closed, we're back to having a fight. And then they're like, well, in that case, I don't have many relics this time round, boys. I guess we just have to hold off for a minute until we notice that people are missing still.
And they notice, and they start it. Fire Giant half, Fire Giant 25. Fire Giant's going to go to LG all the way for free, just with a little bit of help from Mask.
And that doesn't take long for two hunters to shred that down.
Nope.
And I mean, one coerce didn't even need Jeff's ultimate, didn't need his frenzy. He really went all in on this extra attack speed and penetration in this build.
I mean,
Tier 2 tower going to be taken care of nice and easily. Not just the Fire Giant, but also the tower is going to be easily taken care of.
we'll say, we've not really spoke about that Doom Mob and Venenu, though, because we've seen quite a different few builds on Raijin just later. The Warlock Sash, the Book of Tough, the Bumba's Mask starts, and now we're getting a Doom Mob.
And that's a little bit more pretty prime oriented. That's where he loves to go with this build. And it can be really effective. You can do enough burst damage to really one-shot a carry. I mean, how many times that happened to multiple hunters so far in this Super Regionals? Arkel, I believe, died with his Aegis up a couple times against a Raijin because of the surprise burst damage. And Venge's trying to get there, and that's without the three Guardians, instead of having three Warriors, you have a better chance to punch through and blow them up very quickly. But because of how well Mask and Aquarius have done at forcing Venenu back and forcing him to use his ultimate defensively, that Doom Orb doesn't help whenever you're electing to do less damage with the taunt and the fear off the ult.
Mid Phoenix after the tier 1, tier 2, and
it's already gone.
Clearly, that one's gone easy peasy.
The Frenzy Pop.
You enjoyed that, didn't you?
It was more the Frenzy Pop, because it went Frenzy, bloop, and the Phoenix was there. I remember how much we talk about these Phoenixes being, they're hard to siege these days, boys and girls. They're a little bit tankier, they survive a little bit. Not against the Frenzy and two Hunters, though. Completely different story.
And honestly, that's before Baskin backs to finish off his Titan's Vein. He's been sitting on that tier 2 of that item for a while now. I mean, he's got over 2,000 gold in hand. Nearly everyone from Luminosity has nearly 2,000 gold in hand. So they're going to be able to finish off some items, and it's only getting worse from here.
LG, would you like fries with that? The drive-through Gold Fury. It's one of my favorite moves.
Don't talk about fast food near BaRRaCCuDDa. He's barely got through the Super Regionals without having an issue, okay? Like, we're nearly at the tail end. Let's just get through the day.
Yeah, he's actually been, like, healthy during the Super Regionals. That's bad news.
I need to grab that smoothie.
Does that mean he's going to be unhealthy at Worlds, then?
He always is.
That's true.
He was really sick last year at Worlds. Was he sick at last Super Regionals? I think he was.
Yes. You know what? I actually think it's just part of his plot armor, just in case if he does lose, he's like, well, I was sick, you know, guys. Like, I've got a reason for why we didn't win.
With how he's played so well when sick, that now whenever he feels healthy and doesn't play well, it'll be like, well, I wasn't sick. You know, I could breathe normally.
He's gonna go around trying to get himself sick on purpose, then.
He might. Honestly, I might if I were him.
What? Get sick on purpose?
Yeah, he plays really well when he's sick.
I wish he would get sick on purpose, so I'd have to cast with him.
Why? Oh, him? Yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to talk about you. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Not just yet, anyway. We'll see.
Well, you know what?
But I don't cast better when I'm sick, so I don't want to be sick.
You know what, though? Don't worry, Aggro. I think you're sick.
Okay, yeah, I'm feeling a little under the weather, Hindu. I don't think I can make it for the rest of this set.
I felt like I regressed back to the 90s there for a second when I heard Tom say that, so...
Aggro says it all the time. It's one of your favorite words.
I literally have never said that once in my life.
Hey, right now, I got nothing to say. Either way, Luminosity looking pretty ill in this game on the right side of the map.
Kill me.
Got it. Here's a digression by Scream, taking care of Mask by himself. Up, down is good.
That's fine.
Nice surround by eUnited, but Mask is healthy while the rest of his team is looking at the right side. Phoenix, PolarBearMike gonna fall down. Baskin gets the last hit in the middle of the Suns, thanks to his buddy BaRRaCCuDDa. Meanwhile, 2 Phoenix down. Titan's gonna be the target. Half HP already, and they haven't even walked in. It's gone before we can talk about it. LG take game 3.
And that double hunter end up being really, really impactful again. And And the difference between that composition for Elevate and what Luminosity had turned it into is honestly, in my mind, the Fafnir pick. I mean, Elevate only played Fafnir once, I believe, in that double hunter comp because Dardes just doesn't like to play it, but it works really, really well.
Well, what mastered in that last little engagement is what he did all game long as well. Is like, look at me, look at me, look at me. And even when you think he's going to ult out of the fight, he's staying on purpose because it's forcing people to focus him, which is allowing the hunters to do what they're there for.
Exactly.
Kill the towers.
How many times did Scream ult Mask and Mask just ults in after Scream or after somebody else? I mean, Scream's never going to be able to kill Mask in that scenario, and that's what's so hard about these compositions is the hunters play far back enough that they aren't going to get hit by anything, so you have to try and deal with a frontliner, but the frontliners get so tanky from the early leads that you can't focus them either.
It's also just the beauty of the Ravana pick. Serqet excels because she deals true damage, which ignores your protections, but Ravana gets straight damage reduction, which ignores your true damage. So
and he's building some HP so that true damage is less impactful because he's got a bigger pool to go for. Yeah, exactly. It just kind of spirals out of control pretty quickly.
There's a crazy little set between the two. I mean, that's only game 3 as well. I still think we're going 5, though. Even though they look very dominant LG performance that game, still think we're 5.
I think eUnited has the talent to take 5, but I think LG has the momentum to take 4. We're 3 in. We'll see what happens.
What's going on, everybody? Hi-Rez Aggro here. I'm excited to tell you that HRX is right around the corner, which means, like every other year, we've got our digital loot pack. Trust me, this year's is even more special. We've got tons of great stuff in there. This year's digital loot pack is chock full of great stuff. No chalk skin, actually, but plenty of other ones. 4, in fact. The Convention 2018 Cernunnos skin, the Mystic Defender Neath skin, and then the headliner for SWC 2018, King Thor, Queen Aphrodite. These are amazing skins. Play with one person a lot? Pair up. They look great together. You'll also get a Thumper Ward, Divine Chest Roll, some fantasy points, a couple Ward skins and Recall skins, and then of course that #1 global emote. So that's our loot pack for 2018, and just like the digital loot pack, the event itself gets better every single year, and we hope you'll join us. It's HRX here in Atlanta, Georgia, from January 4th to the 7th. You can get your tickets at hi-rez-expo.com. I'm Aggro, and we hope to see you here in Atlanta on January 4th.
Welcome back here to the desk with Finch, Taco, and Tolly. We're in that set here between LG and eUnited, where LG have gone up 2-1 here, Tolly. How have you been feeling about it?
I mean, I looked pretty good here, actually, or rather eUnited for the beginning of the game.
You look good, too. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Serqet stealing the gold here was actually really impressive coming out of Scream, but unfortunately just couldn't really seal the deal against Luminosity's double hunter composition.
Well, before we talk too much about that one, you saw it there, Aggro was talking about it in that last video, though, that AHRX digital loot pack here, if you're not able to go, you can still get the digital loot pack for yourself. That way you can pick up like the Mystic Defender Neath, those Queen and King, Aphrodite and Thor scans. It just looks great. A lot of good stuff in there, and there always is. Yeah,
considering everything involved in that, there's always nothing that you want to be missing out on. But particularly getting back to what Tolly was talking about, it was looking pretty hot for eUnited at first, especially off that Gold Fury steal. But people might start calling scripted for me, man, if I keep trying to predict these matches. But Luminosity, they knew they were on a timer, and they completely took advantage of it. That was one of those sets where you just know that you have to end it between that like 26, 30-minute mark period. You don't want to go much further than that with a 4 physical composition, because by then the enemy team's going to be able to catch up no matter what kind of goal deficit they're suffering from. And once you stack those physical items, it can become incredibly difficult to handle. Luminosity, though, they worked with what they got, and they got an early lead.
And Fafnir enabled this double hunter composition to really work out. We were talking about it in game #1, how eUnited had the Fafnir. In game #2, it was shut down because of the RDO. Here in game #3, was really successful despite it being Luminosity's only magical source of damage. And I think more importantly, it was yet again the soul lane control. This time around, it was Aquarius that got the Chulainn.
It was Aquarius that had the big impact in this game. And you know what else was in this game that was very interesting to me here, Tolly? It felt like the ones making the flashy plays were eUnited maybe, but it was LG who were the ones that were getting the objective. I mean, there was Benji get that 1v2 under that tower. Talk to me a little bit about what happened with that one there, Taco.
That's just one of those circumstances where you kind of underestimate the damage that the enemy soul laner is actually able to output, and then you overestimate the amount of damage you're actually going to deal to them. And that was hand in hand the situation. And Benji with Erlang can just buy himself so much time, a lot of kiting potential, and that's pretty much what happens.
He also has that 4-second window with his ultimate to give him a little bit of a heal return. So if you don't find that kill within the 4 seconds, you're going to be in a world of hurt, and that's exactly what happened. Aquarius went a little bit too deep for comfort there and got paid the price.
But even though that was the case with it, it still ended up going the way of LG. Another big individual play that was made, though, you alluded to it already, that Gold Fury steal by Scream. Even though it doesn't end up going their way the game, that was still a real hot play. Can y'all break that one down a little bit more for me? What happened there?
Cobra's kiss.
He just found
apparently.
the perfect angle. He blinks in there. He hits somebody from Luminosity with the first one, and then that timing that it takes to hit the first one, he has enough time to switch his camera angle right in the perfect spot for Gold Fury. Just look at this slow motion.
Wow.
I can't believe it, personally. No. It's still just one of those plays that happens, and you just really can't believe it, because there is no reason why Luminosity should ever let that go in that manner, but they were able to bounce back from it regardless. They immediately found a couple of kills following that Gold Fury loss, and I mean, they kind of had to, especially when they lost it in that manner. Most of eUnited was, of course, like, they were so happy as soon as Scream managed to steal that one away, but after the team fight that ensued, not so much.
Not so much at all, and now Luminosity have huge momentum in this best-of-5 set. They're just one game away winning to secure themselves that first seed out of North America.
And that's what's so big about this match here. Yes, I mean, there's bragging rights on the line, but this is the one that gets that first seed. This is the big match up against your biggest opponent coming out of the same region as you. And so far, LG with that 2-1, they're the ones looking a little bit strong. But to talk about that play there, Tolly, tell me about the mental state of this team, because that's the kind of play, giving up that Gold Fury that way, that can tilt you. But LG didn't look like they really were deterred at all.
They felt confident about their chances of winning team fights. With a double hunter, they knew that any frontliner that went at them would get absolutely melted. So they felt like, okay, we lost the Gold Fury. We're going to get the next one in 5 minutes due time. As long as we keep winning these team fights, picking off Scream, picking off multiple members after the fact, allow them to just slowly build off of a lead anyway. And
if you're going to rely on a 4 physical God pool combination, you really want to have those 2 hunters that Luminosity drafted. They had the Hu-Yi, Mark of the Crow, going to come up huge when it comes to trying to shred some of the more frontlining members from eUnited, and plus Cernunnos, he has that passive as well, where the closer an enemy gets, the more damage he's going to inherently do to you. So, of course, for eUnited, it just became really difficult to try and handle that damage, because, again, that Fafnir selection worked beautifully with the rest of this draft, and a lot of kudos, really, to Luminosity for understanding that they knew exactly when they had to pressure out eUnited, and they never really slowed down afterwards. They completely capitalized on that early pressure advantage.
It just they get into each other's heads so often here. These two teams are scrim partners. They played around with each other for so long, and even in the first game when they just predicted a lot of these rotations early on, catching, I think it was PolarBearMike by himself slipping around Luminosity's red buff, to the way they're dancing around these Gold Furies is just telltale sign of how well these teams know each other.
And I'm glad you talked about a little bit there, Taco, about the Cernunnos pick, because we haven't gotten to see too much of it here lately. But Baskin pulls it out here and plays it, it feels like, to perfection. I think in particular, he was the one that was kind of going off for them with this double hunter comp.
I was fairly surprised to see that it wasn't Baskin piloting the Hu-Yi and instead opting for the Cernunnos. So that's just one of those moments where you kind of just trust the team to prefer that, and I believe the reasoning behind it was simply because BaRRaCCuDDa would have a little bit more flexibility in the dual lane, just in case PBM decided to make some appearances.
Well, either way, that's going to be game 2, or game 3 rather, in favor of Luminosity. They got 2 wins, though, there, Tolly. So now